Alrighty, so we are back. My name is Katie Murphy, and today we are going to be talking about the Geogebra Classic software. Not to be confused with the Geogebra Classic website, geogebra.org. This is basically GeoGebra's software that they created that is basically the exact same thing as their website. It's just so if you are offline or in a place that does not have internet, you can still use this to create some pretty cool stuff. So let's start playing with it. And just for reference, this software is free for download to Mac and PC. So that would be great. Now, GeoGebra Classic has many applications. There are different things that we can use. We can use graphing, geometry, 3D, CAS, spreadsheet, probability, and we can even put in exam mode or download our own on here. So for right now, I believe I will look at graphing because I feel like a lot of stuff that we can use in the others we can incorporate into the graphing. If I have time for the video, I'll also look at geometry, but I think for this one, me personally, I believe that just from playing with it earlier, GeoGebra is pretty good for graphing and using algebraic applications. So let's look at that. So let's just go through our toolbox here, up here, and so we can play with it. So this is our selection. So we have the move, so if we had something on the screen, we'd be able to move it. Let's just say I put a point on the screen. As you can see, it shows up in our little toolbar over here, just from where I put it on the screen. If I wish to move the point, I can move it wherever on the screen. And as you can see over here, that it goes wherever I move it. With this tool, we can also look at freehanding, so we can freehand some stuff. So I just kind of drew a square and it drew it there for me. It also just has a pen that we can use to point to things. And again, pretty much everything we do will show up over here in this little toolbar. Now with points, there's a lot of different things that we can do to plot a point. We can do points on an object, attach and detach points, intersections, midpoints or center points, complex numbers, extremiums, so maximums and minimums, and the roots, so where they cross at the X or Y intercepts. Now let's look at our line segment tool. So we can either create a line, so just 2 points. As you can see, it showed up over here. We can do a segment. So we can do a segment of a given length. We can do a ray. Vectors from a point, and polylines. So those are a bit extreme. I don't think you'd really use those. These are the three that might be used in a situation. We can do different types of lines, so perpendicular lines, parallel lines, perpendicular bisectors, tangents, angle bisectors, anything that we see fit. So let's say I wanted to make a perpendicular line. I would select a point, so let's just say G here, and then the line I want to be perpendicular to, and it would create a 90-degree angle. Then we can create polygons. So we can just create regular polygons just by making the points and clicking on the endpoint. We can then also make regular polygons, so if we want them to be perfect. So let's just say we wanted it to be 4 vertices. We now have a square. If we also say we want to make a pentagon, a regular pentagon, so all the sides are equal, hit OK, and there we have it. There are also different types of polygons, but they're a bit more extreme. Let's look at circles. So we can create different parts of circles. So circle with center through a point. So we create a point, pull it out to however long we want, and there's our circle. We can do circle through center and radius. So here's our center. Let's just say our radius is 1. Okay, and there's our radius. We can also do a circle through 3 points, semicircles, circular arcs, basically any kind of circle subjects you might want to do, arcs, semicircles, whatever, it's all right here. It can also do ellipses, so not circles, but sort of like ovals. So there will be an ellipse, hyperbolas, so there's a hyperbola right there. Parabolas and conics. So again, that's more for, we mostly look at these with parametrics, and those are a lot more advanced, but hey, if you have a pre-cal or calculus class, that would be perfect for it. Now, it's getting pretty congested here, so I'm just going to create a new page. So I'm just going to come up here, go to new. I don't really want to save this. So here we got a new one. Let's go back to graphing. Now we're going to look at the next tool, which is the angle. So this will just be creating an angle, so 3 different points. And there we go, we have our angle. And if we want to connect segments through them, we just go on top and create the segments. And if we want to move them, we would change the angle. And it gives you the actual angle size right here, which is pretty cool. We can also do angles with a given size. So let's say we wanted a perfect 90-degree angle going clockwise. We now have a 90-degree angle. Let me just connect it with some segments. That will never change regardless of where I move it. So it stays a 90-degree angle as opposed to this angle, which if I move any of the sides, it constantly changes. We can also find the distance and the length of something. So let's just say we just wanted the distance between E and D. There it is, right there. And this is in centimeters. That's through right here. We can also find the area. So let's just say I made a polygon real quick. I wanted to find the area of it. Then I would just select it, and there's the area right there in centimeters squared. We also have a slope. So let's just say I wanted the slope of this line right here. There it is. That's the slope right there. Gives us the exact slope. Let me just move this out of the way. So this would be the slope of this line, H, or G to F. Now we can also do reflections and rotations and translations and dilations. So essentially we can do transformations. So let's just say we wanted to rotate around a point. And also, if you ever wanted to know how to do something, it'll tell you if you click on it. So again, rotate around a point. We select the object to rotate. So we just say we want to select that point around a 45-degree angle, and there it is. There's the rotation. Now let's say we want to translate. Here's our translation. Let's just say this is the vector. And there it is. There's our translation. And we can also reflect. So there's different ways we can reflect. Let's just say reflect about a point. So let's just say we're going to reflect this line over this point. And let's zoom out a little bit, and you can see that there's a reflection right here. Then what we can do is add sliders. And again, it's kind of congested, so I'm just going to create a new page again. Still looking at graphing. So let's say we want to add a slider. We just click slider, hit it, click anywhere on the page that we would want it. We can rename it. So let's just call it M, and then the increments that we want. So let's just say -10 to 10. And we can have it incrementing by 1/10. Hit OK, and there it is. And you can see over here and here that it will move. Now, say we want to add some text. One thing that's great is that when we hit the text, we can do something called advanced. So, say we want to do the slope formula. We can do y plus y equals m plus mx plus b. So that's the function. Now if we actually put the y equals mx plus b in here, and before we do that, let me just make another slider. Call it b, -10 to -10, increments 0.1. We can input in here y equals mx plus b, and as you can see, that function that we put in actually comes in and it's connected to our slider. So again, if I want to go through the text, click anywhere. This is what we originally wrote. This is without anything cool. However, if I wanted y equals, just go to this little circle thing here, the GeoGebra symbol, click on m, x plus b. I'm just going to preview real quick. Okay. Hit OK. As you can see, the m and the b values are now connected to that of the graph, so you can see where they go. Now, if say we want to change, like make it pretty, or make it so students could use it, we can do things like this. We can lock things down by right-clicking and then hitting Lock Objects. So I'm going to do this for our sliders and our text. Say I want to change the colors. I just go right-click on the object that I want to change, hit Settings. Then if I need to fix anything, it's all right here. The color, let's just make it red. Then just exit it out, and now it's red. Same thing for this one. Settings, color, Let's make it blue. Exit it out. I can even change the color of the line. Make it purple. And I can also do the same things with the text. So again, you can see how it moves. And so this one just shows the slope form of a function. And there's also a lot of things that I can do up here. So if I click on this little hot dog with the circle and the triangle right here, just gotta make sure nothing's highlighted. Say I wanted to change the style of my graph. I can take the grid away. I can make it with squares. I can make it polar. I can even make it like this. I don't even know what this is called, but it's pretty cool with hexagons. I can also take away the axes if I wish. So that's what I was talking about, how like the geometry and the graphing ones have similar applications, because I can just so simply take away the axes and then I just have a blank screen. There's also settings that I can mess with if I wanted to. So the x-axis, I can show the numbers, the labels, anything I want. I can also open different things here, close them. If I wanted to show this to students, but I didn't want them to see this screen right here, I can go up here, hit these little dots, and hit close, and it goes away. So that's pretty much just playing with all the different tools. And I did show you one use, so this shows the slope formula. But with students, I have found that using GeoGebra, you can use it for a lot of exploration activities. So this is one way that you can use it, showing slope form. So like trying to figure out how the slope formula works with the graph. And I have another one that I've already created. So let me just open it up here real quick. So this one, as you can see, it has all the stuff that I did over here. I'm just going to close it real quick. Well, for some reason it doesn't want me to close this. As you can see, it kind of separates it with everything that I've done. So the points, the text, the lines, all that fun stuff. But anyway, if we look at this, for whatever reason, it's not going to let me close this. I think it's because I saved it with this still here. But you can still look at this side of the screen. So for this one, we're looking at the vertex form of a function. So I plugged in the vertex form y equals ax minus h squared plus k, which I have here. I also supplied them with the vertex and the axis of symmetry, which they can make their own conclusions from, which I think is pretty cool. So like they can move the sliders around and explore A, As you can see, it's hot text here, so you can look at it. H and K. So they can look at it and they can explore how it affects the parabola itself, the vertex, and the axis of symmetry. So those are just some of the uses that this can be used for in a classroom. A lot of it could be used for exploration, which I think is really cool. And students can also use it to build things themselves. They can use it as a graphing calculator or whatever they wish. So yeah, this is the software version of GeoGebra Classic, and I hope you enjoyed.